Shut up and get out of here.
Gentlemen will suspend. Gentlemen will suspend.
Get out of here, you loser. Come on. By the way, to be clear, I hold you all responsible for this. It is the attitude that you have allowed on your college campuses that make people think that this is okay. That is why this happens, because you have someone like Emmanuel Ness that says resistance by any means necessary, and I assume this person still works at your school. Is that correct?
Microphone, please.
Any call for violence against Jewish members of our community is entirely unacceptable.
So why does this person still work there?
Any individual or faculty that has a complaint of breaking our rules, we will investigate them and take the appropriate disciplinary action if warranted.
Corinna Mullen at John Jay College said, after October 7th, the right of Palestinian armed resistance is just, and just last month was filmed chanting, up, up, up with freedom, down, down, down with Zionist scum. This is a professor that teaches your Jewish students. How can you say you have an unwavering zero tolerance policy when this person teaches at your school?
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow patriots, welcome back to Right View Nation, where we speak the truth boldly, unapologetically, and without fear of woke backlash. Today's video is going to get real uncomfortable for the left-wing elite and the academic cowards who've turned our universities into breeding grounds for anti-American hate and blatant anti-Semitism. What I just watched during this congressional hearing should outrage every red-blooded American. We're not just witnessing liberal indoctrination anymore. We're witnessing the normalization of hate against Jewish students, all while these so-called educators smile, deflect, and gaslight the public. Let's break this down. We have university officials sitting there saying with straight faces, we have a zero-tolerance policy on anti-Semitism. We unequivocally support our Jewish students. Really? Because actions speak louder than words. And guess what? Your actions scream betrayal. Take this so-called professor, Emmanuel Ness, head of the political science department, advocating for resistance by any means necessary. Let me translate that for you folks. He's endorsing violence. And he's still employed, still teaching, still influencing young minds. What happened to that zero tolerance you keep talking about? Oh, I forgot. That only applies if someone misgenders a student or refuses to kneel for the anthem. But when it comes to calls for violence against Jews, silence, excuses, tolerance, and then we move to Berkeley. Oh, Berkeley, the petri dish of radical leftism. They honored a professor who publicly supported the October 7th Hamas terrorist attacks. He even said he could have been one of those who broke the siege. Are you kidding me? This isn't academic freedom. This is academic treason. Berkeley chose to give this man a prestigious position in Palestinian Arab studies. They rewarded a man who sympathizes with terrorists who butchered innocent civilians, because that's what the left calls resistance. Then we've got Georgetown University playing dumb about an event hosted at their Qatar campus called Decolonization is Not Just a Theory. That event featured armed resistance exhibits in solidarity with Palestine. Let me tell you something.
Recognize the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Fine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to be honest. I find the testimony today both disgusting, dishonest, and to be gaslighting, and I'm going to point it out here. We've heard that we unequivocally denounce anti-Semitism, unwavering support for our Jewish students. We have a zero-tolerance policy, and we will not put up with a call for violence. So let's explore that. I'd like to start with Dr. Rodriguez. Emmanuel Ness, the chair of your political science department, said he supports, quote, resistance by any means necessary, which includes violence. How can you say those statements that you support your Jewish students? Shut up and get out of here.
Gentlemen will suspend. Gentlemen will suspend.
Get out of here, you loser. Come on. By the way, to be clear, I hold you all responsible for this. It is the attitude that you have allowed on your college campuses that make people think that this is okay. That is why this happens, because you have someone like Emmanuel Ness that says resistance by any means necessary, and I assume this person still works at your school. Is that correct?
Microphone, please.
Any call for violence against Jewish members of our community is entirely unacceptable.
So why does this person still work there?
Any individual or faculty that has a complaint of breaking our rules, we will investigate them and take the appropriate disciplinary action if warranted.
Corinna Mullen at John Jay College said, after October 7th, the right of Palestinian armed resistance is just, and just last month was filmed chanting, "Up, up, up with freedom, down, down, down with Zionist scum." This is a professor that teaches your Jewish students. How can you say you have an unwavering zero-tolerance policy when this person teaches at your school?
Again, I believe that that faculty member is no longer teaching with the university. Any call for violence, any call for supporting Hamas or terrorism is entirely unacceptable, and we made those statements several times.
At Berkeley, you're next. You created in the fall of 2024, you named Usama Makdizi the inaugural chair of a new endowed program in Palestinian Arab studies. On October 7th, Makdizi described the Hamas attack against Israel as, quote, resistance. Why would you give a job? See, I understand freedom of speech, but you get to decide who to hire. Why would you give a position to someone who said October 7th was justified? Why?
Usama Makdizi, Professor Makdizi, is a fine scholar. He was awarded that position from his colleagues based on academic standards.
Great. So on February 5th, 2024, this great academic, you're showing the problem, said, quote, "I could have been one of those who broke through the siege on October 7th. This is what you think is good." And then we're surprised when people come in here and behave this way. I'm going to move on to Georgetown. You've got a campus in Qatar. I note when my colleague, Vice Chair Owens, said, "What would happen with a KKK student on campus?" You said, "Yes, but." That's the problem with all of this. We believe that we should deal with racism, and we should. And I did a lot in the Florida legislature to do with that. But there should not be a but after it when it comes to anti-Semites. So at your school in Qatar, you had a October 24th, 2023, an event titled "Decolonization is Not Just a Theory." It was an exhibition of armed resistance in Africa in solidarity with Palestine. What does decolonization is not just a theory mean to you, and what does it mean to Georgetown?
I don't have knowledge of that exhibition. This was a student-led event, Congressman.
All right, so I have 90 seconds left, and I'm going to end with this. I have a 17-year-old who will be applying to school next year. He's in Washington interning right now. And how in good conscience could you tell my son, who is Jewish, who's the reason I wear this kippah, how could you tell my son in good conscience that he would be safe at any of your schools? I'll give each of you, 20 seconds to try to answer that question.
I would deeply hope he would feel safe, and there's a reason for this at Georgetown. If Jewish students don't feel safe, if they have fear, if it's not just hurtful to them, it destroys our mission of interfaith dialogue.
They don't feel safe right now. Your turn.
I have spoken to many students. We have recruited actively in the Jewish community at CUNY. I've actually begun a program of extending a program that we have of recruiting in the high schools to the yeshivas, which is College Now. And again, we have listened. I have met with the students, gone to Hillel, listened to their concerns, and I've told them that we need to do better. We have made the changes, and we're showing the results. And listening and being committed to their safety is something that I wake up every day to do.
Yeah, I don't even need an answer from Berkeley, given the answer to that question about that professor. I would tell you this: the Jewish students on your campus, they do not feel safe today, and you all should be ashamed about that. And with that, I yield back.
I thank the gentleman, and I recognize the gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Grothman.
Thank you. First of all, just a quick general statement. This has been talked about the third or fourth.
Decolonization is their sanitized word for violence. It's the academic left's way of justifying bloodshed while sitting in air-conditioned offices and sipping soy lattes. They didn't know about the event. Give me a break. If this had been a Christian student rally, they would have shut it down before the first hymn played. And let's not forget the most important part of all of this: the Jewish students. Conservative, liberal, religious, secular. It doesn't matter. They're being targeted, harassed, threatened. And these college presidents? They're too busy writing diversity memos to notice or care. One of the most powerful moments came when Representative Fine, God bless him, asked a simple, fatherly question. How can I send my Jewish son to your schools in good conscience? None of these administrators had an answer worth listening to, because deep down, they know their campuses aren't safe for anyone who stands with Israel or stands against terrorism. Let me be crystal clear, America. This is not just about Jewish students. This is about the soul of our nation's education system. If universities are allowed to harbor professors who support terrorist groups, if students are taught that violence against Jews is resistance, then we are no longer talking about education. We're talking about indoctrination and radicalization. So what do? We fight back. We expose them. We call them out by name. We pull funding. We demand accountability. If these institutions want federal money, then they need to start acting like American institutions, not foreign propaganda outlets. Right View Nation, this is the hill we stand on. We must protect the truth. We must defend our students. And we must make damn sure that the next generation isn't brainwashed by cowards in ivory towers who excuse terrorism and peddle hate. Like, share, subscribe, and tell the world that patriots aren't backing down. This is Right View Nation, and we will never be silent.